the sports podcast with the youngest, most daring, intrepid, gutsy, fearless host on the planet. Get ready for Jake's Takes. Here's Jake.
My guest today played college ball for the University of North Carolina, setting numerous records with his incredible play. And in his senior year, he won the NCAA championship. He was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2009 NBA draft and continued to shine. He's got stellar perimeter D and is a lights-out three-point shooter and was selected to the All-NBA defensive team in 2017. He's just a legit winner. He won the NBA championship with the Spurs, the Lakers, and of course, your Toronto Raptors. And he's the host of one of the most hit podcasts called Inside the Green Room. It's my absolute honor to welcome to Jake's Takes NBA star and champion, Danny Green. What's up, Danny? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. That was a great intro, man. Appreciate it. You made me sound amazing, like an amazing player. Also tagged the podcast. That was dope, man. So thanks for having me. It's an honor. It's a pleasure, man. Hopefully this is something that you'll continue throughout the rest of your life, and you can look back on this as a pretty historic moment, as me and, of course, a couple other people being one of the first to your history, your long resume, probably better and longer than mine. But thanks for having me, man.
Thank you. And this is really special of you joining me. Not just because you're an NBA player. That's awesome, and you're awesome, but you're also a star podcaster on my show. So when this is all done, you better give me some tips, right?
Of course, man.
Yeah.
Of course. I learned a lot later than you, but I learned a lot of tips over my past 3 years. I've been doing it. This is year 4 doing it. So, and still have a lot to learn, but seem like you're way organized and ahead of the game than I was when I started.
Thank you. Okay, so before we talk about Toronto and your upcoming long-anticipated return, how's life been in Philly?
It's been good, especially since the trade. You know, we've been winning some more games. Even before the trade, we've been doing really well. It's close to home. I'm from New York originally, so family can come up. I can go back to see family during the holidays, which is a new thing for me. I've been able to celebrate holidays since before college like that, only a couple here and there in college, and then after college, none. We didn't get spring breaks or winter breaks or holiday breaks. So it's good to be near family. It's good to still be on a good winning team, organization, and, heading into the playoffs with some contention of winning a championship. So I've been very blessed and lucky, man, to be a part of some great organizations and some winning basketball programs.
Okay, I don't think people realize how valuable you are to a basketball team. You're drafted 46th overall, and all you do is make every team you're on into a winner. You got 3 rings on 3 different teams, and you have another legit shot at going for a 4th this year. And I'll tell you in a minute what you bring to the table. But what makes Danny Green so successful in Danny Green's eyes?
Oh, man. So you make it sound very special. And I've been very lucky to be a part of some great teams. We had a lot of talent, but I think I've learned to win. I played for a great high school coach. He taught me the small details of what it takes to win, and also a great college coach who taught me how to be a man, how to grow up. Because in college, you're still a teenager, still a young man, but growing into adult. But during those 4 years, I was able to learn not only the rules of life and how to play the game of life and win in the game of life, but also on the court. So I had some great teachers, man. And then, I was also lucky enough to play for Coach Pop and win some games under Tony, Timmy, and Manu and him, and learn how to really be a winner on this level, on this stage. So ultimately, extremely blessed. But for me, it's just the little things. And now my job is to, not manage, but be the glue of the team and make sure guys' messages are relayed, be the kind of mediator, make sure everybody's egos are fine, in place. But also do my job, play good defense, understand what the stars need from me, and knock down shots when the time comes, when it's necessary. So this year, just trying to stay physically, mentally healthy, And when the time comes, hopefully step up and do my job in the playoffs when we have, a really good shot.
Okay, so here's what I think, Danny.
Okay, let's hear it.
Players like you make championship teams. You're
Okay.
just playing, like, think about this. You're playing all NBA defense. You're shooting lights out from three. And there's other players on other teams who try to fill your role, but they can't. And they get more money, and the salary doesn't go into that. The salary needs to be accounted for that. Am I right, Danny?
Agreed. You have to have some guys on a team willing to take some cuts to be able to make the team or for the better of the team. I did go back to San Antonio. Not saying that I could have got paid a lot more somewhere else, but I did come back for less than maybe I could have went somewhere else for, and maybe not have won. But I knew we had a good team, a good group there, and I wanted to make sure that we stayed together. So not just myself, but other guys there, took a little less to make sure that we all stayed together. And Toronto was a little different story, and LA was a little different story. But we did have a lot of guys come together in LA. Toronto, we happened to be traded there, and it fit and it worked, and then also made some good trades. So Masai and Bobby and all those guys made great decisions with putting together a great team. In LA, there was also a situation where I had signed there, and other guys had to figure out how to make the group fit together. And same here in Philly. This past summer, they were figuring out how to sign who, bring in what, and how to keep me here, but also bring in and keep the stars, and also during trade, how to fit James in. So hopefully we have a chance to. We do have a chance. I think we have the talent. We have the pieces. It's going to come down to who steps up in the playoffs, how rotations go. What coaching philosophies we have and other teams have, and if we stay healthy, I think we have a really good shot. But we have the pieces and the guys that are willing to take sacrifices, not only on the court but off the court and off season. I'm sure if we don't win, which I hope we do, and I think we do have a really good chance and we'll win, that guys will want to come here and want to play here for an opportunity, not just for a money opportunity, but to take a lower cut to play with guys like Joel Embiid and James Harden. And of course, Tobias Harris.
I mean, I need to talk to you right now about some juicy stuff. You ready, Danny?
Okay, let's hear it, man.
Okay, I know you're not shy to speak your mind, so let's go. I already listened to your podcast where they asked you if you're gonna shake hands with Ben Simmons when you play the Nets. So I'm not gonna ask that. But
Okay.
what I really want to know is this, and be brutally honest. What was the main issue with Ben all about? I mean, this guy, he had a bad showing in the playoffs, and the fans ripped him. But there's got to be more. What was it that made Ben want out of Philly? Tell me the juice, Danny.
I'm trying to find the juice for you, man. But I want to clear something up first on your podcast, since you're the guy asking the question here now. I said I don't have any beef with Ben. If he wanted to shake hands, we would, but I don't think that he would. I don't know if he'll come back to Philly. Also, people took out of context that I said him and Drummond and Seth didn't have a good relationship. That's not the case. I just said, he wasn't around much. So I'm sure that relationship was different from then to now, because I don't think they spoke much when we didn't see him. So now that he's on the bench on the sidelines and probably in the locker room a lot more, I'm sure it's a different look for them. So I'm wondering how that goes. I'll get a chance to talk to Andre Drummond later tonight, actually, after doing your podcast. I have my podcast. So I'll get to ask him how that relationship is. But yeah, no hate towards Ben. I honestly don't think it was anything to do with us, the players. I think maybe Ben felt like the organization of the team kind of turned their back on him, maybe, and they were looking for trades. I don't know the specific detail, but I know that I think they were looking for trades, and then he, I guess, felt either maybe betrayed or something like that, or maybe he didn't like what they said in the media. And I think also just didn't want to be in Philly anymore. I don't think he saw the fans turning on him, and I think that he just, was kind of in need of a newer atmosphere. And you never know what people are going on mentally. That's a big thing now, mental health. And I never got a chance to talk to him about it, so I don't know. I never got a chance to help him, but I hope he's in a better place now mentally, because even though we are not on the greatest terms and we didn't, end as well, or that past year speak as much, I still see him as a human and a friend and a brother. At some point we have some history. So there's no hate or ill will towards him. But honestly, if I had the juice, I'd give it to you. but I have no idea really of what the one particular thing it was. But I just hope that he's mentally in a better place. And, when we get a chance to compete against each other, one day we can all look back on this as kids and be like, you know what, that was silly. I hope, this, and this, and we can actually laugh about it. Who knows? But I wish him the best, except for when we play him. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a good playoff series if we do get a chance to match up with them.
Like you said earlier, you know what it feels to be on a championship team. The Spurs team were absolutely stacked. The Raptors were super deep. The Lakers were incredible. Keyword being were. And now looking at your Sixers, man, you guys are scary. You being that 3-and-D guy, Embiid in the middle, Maxey coming into his own, and now Harden joining. Just wow. Like, does this really feel like another championship team to you?
Yeah, when the East is wide open. I do love what our guys bring, what Tyrese is able to emerge into, with the fact that Ben being out, it's allowed him to become what he is now because he had to learn so much in a short period of time. And now with James being here, it makes his job easier. All he has to do is run and be off the ball a lot more, score, doesn't have to run the plays as much. Joel is great inside, mismatch everywhere on the floor. MVP type player, MVP candidate, and should be MVP this year. James was MVP at one point in his career, so those guys are great. Tobias is a great talent as well and figure it out. But I like the pieces around us. We have off the bench that we could be deep. We have Shake, we have Furkan, Matisse, great defensively for us. And when he shoots and knocks that thing, when he shoots it confidently, he knocks it down, but brings so much of the intangibles for us. Now we just picked up DeAndre. We have Paul Millsap, George Niang, good stretch four. And those guys are dirty work guys, blue collar guys that I think get it done for us when we need, good minutes to rest Joel or come off the bench, and rest other guys. So we have the depth, we have the talent. I said it's just going to come down to us staying healthy and hopefully having the right rotations and beating certain teams' other coaching philosophies.
Okay, I had to ask you this. You've played with Tim Duncan, you've played with Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and now Joel Embiid. But who's the most dominant of the four?
Wow, most dominant. The thing is, I caught all those guys at different times of their careers. I would love to have played with Timmy in his prime, even though he was still very good toward the tail end of his career when I was playing with him. And he was better than most bigs I've ever played with. Joel is in his prime right now, and he's a different position than Bron. Kawhi, also a different type of player than Bron, but I played with Kawhi in his prime as well. I didn't get a chance to play with Bron in his prime. Overall, it's hard to pick one and say that the best to play with. I do like James as a point guard. I would love to see him, even though he's not outside of his prime, but I know his years in Houston when he was younger and able to be, up and down, a lot faster, more athletic, get to the rim. He's still very good at what he does. But all those guys are great, man. And it's hard to pick one and say this one's that much better than the other. But I would like to think if I got a chance to play with Bron in his prime, that would be something special. There's a reason why he's arguably the greatest, or one of the top two greatest of all time players to play this game. But I played with him. I didn't get a chance to really play with him, but my first year in Cleveland, I was there as a rookie, and I sat the bench and watched him up close. And then toward the tail end, and you're like 17, 18 for him in LA. So I never got a chance to play with him in between. So I don't really know.
Okay, Danny, I got to go back in time to 2019, the best year of my life. I still remember just partying downtown, screaming through the sunroof, "Let's go Raptors!" when we won that championship. Rumors were you loved it here, and you wanted to say, but then Kawhi bounced, and the team shifted towards kind of like a rebuild. So how much were you looking forward to try and run it back with Dio?
Very much. But I think most of us knew that they couldn't bring everyone back because of the cap space, like you said. I knew that they were already over the cap, I think, from my understanding. And the only way that they were going to go back into the cap and over the cap again was to sign one player back, one player only. That was Kawhi. So either way, I was already kind of out of the question when it came to that. Unless I signed for a lot less to come back to Toronto, which would have been tough to do. It's tough to win a couple championships and sign for like half of what I could have gotten when I went to LA. A job offers you something great, especially when Kawhi is not there. It'd be different if everybody came back and they were like, "Oh, we got this for you," then it would have been reconsideration. But once Kawhi left, then it was like, it's going to be a different type of team. Even though I knew they were going to be really good, they had a great coaching staff and a great young core with Fred, OG, all those guys, Pascal. So yeah, once I knew that they couldn't go into the cap anymore and they would only go into the cap for Kawhi, that it was kind of me looking for other scenarios outside of Toronto at that point. But I still call it a place that's a home for me. I still love it. It shows a lot of love to me. And I try to visit as much as I can whenever I can because it's a beautiful place, man. Just the energy, the people, man, it holds a nice little place in my heart with some great history.
We love you here, Danny. We love you. Okay,
Thank
just
you.
saying, Danny, you got 3 rings. Kawhi got 2.
Kawhi hopefully comes back healthy before the playoffs. We'll never know, but I know he'll come back with a vengeance next year. And the Clippers will be a strong team for the next couple of years. We'll see what they do with him and PG, and they're kind of toward the end, but still prime-ish years. They have about 2 or 3 more years to capitalize on that.
Okay, you ready for that special night coming up to finally get your ring? Tell me why you
I
waited
can't
so
wait.
long, though.
Oh, we had COVID. We had the bubble. They didn't have the ring when they were in Tampa. So many reasons. And I wanted to do it in Toronto in front of the fans. So when I went to Tampa, they were like, you know what? They didn't bring the ring. So I was like, when I do it back in Toronto. So all right, cool. We did the bubble. Wait another year. And this past year, in 2021, which is last year, end of December, we were supposed to visit there in Philly. I had caught COVID. And we postponed it. Luckily, we postponed it even before that. But a lot of people were out. The fans were done. They weren't allowing people in the building. So now that it's April coming up soon, I think everything will be more open. Fans will be there, more comfortable, and I'll get a chance to receive my ring finally in front of the fans. And it's only been 2 years, but to enjoy it fully the way it should be enjoyed. Especially, I don't know if I'll be able to get another one after this one, so we'll see.
I gotta see you, Danny, get that ring. So I'm gonna try and convince my father to take me.
I hope so, man. If not, we'll figure something out. I'll try to look into it and see if I can get something done for you. All right, my man?
Oh, that would be awesome. Okay, Danny. Right now on Jake's Takes, it's game time. We're playing some rapid fire. I'll ask you a bunch of short questions and you answer them as quick as you can. Deal?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Who's the worst ref in the NBA?
Oh, man, you're going to get me in trouble for this one. I would love to pick a retired referee, so I don't know who's retired. There are a couple other guys that I have in mind. There's one I think a lot of people would agree on, but I could not say his name. But we do have a special relationship. I've been in the league for 13 years. I speak to all of them. I say hello. One gives me a really hard time, a tough time, and I feel like he looks for fouls every time I play. But yeah, there is one person, but I cannot say his name, man. I'm sorry.
Raptors jersey or Lakers jersey?
In terms of style, history,
style.
Overall, the big yellow and purple is kind of bright. I do like the Mamba jerseys were really nice. The purple jerseys were better ones, but the yellow one is a little bright for me. I think Toronto was a little more simple with my style, so I like the black, I like the red, the black and red. I did like the OVOs, but during my time, we didn't play in the black OVO jerseys. We had the white ones. And his history of the Toronto's jerseys, the old school ones are kind of fire. The Lakers' old ones, the Minneapolis, those are decent, but I'm going to have to go with probably Toronto.
Who's more integral to TNT, Shaq or Barkley?
Oh, they're both hand in hand, man. But I think without Chuck, you don't have as much comedy on that show because of how Chuck, how he talks, how he operates, some of his guarantees, some of his opinions. People just love it. They love his funny energy, his jokes. But them together are one, so that's why they fit. It's hard to have one without the other. But I think the way Chuck is, it's easier for Shaq to be funnier. It's easier for Shaq to mess with Chuck and everybody else. So I'm going to say Chuck is probably a little more intricate to that board.
Yeah, you remember when this was like a while ago, but it was so funny. Remember when Chuck was like about Zion? He's like, looks like Shaq had a baby.
Yeah, like him and Shaq had a baby or something like that. Yeah. So Chuck, he has some funny sayings, man. He has some funny opinions and guarantees, and he makes the show, don't say go, but he makes the show very entertaining for the viewers.
Aside from you, who's the best dressed player in the NBA?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with guys that have been on my team. And there's other guys that I respect out there that are very good dressed. But in Philly, the two other guys that I like their style and have good style have been, consistent on top of their dress game. Now we have James Harden, who does a little bit of everything. So, he has he's also a big watch guy. What I like when I see what kind of watches he has. But Tobias Harris has also been very good and very well respected throughout the league on his fits. Outside of that, when I was in LA, of course, there was Baran, there was AD, even Dwight. Everybody dressed there. Kuz was a fashion guy. And in Toronto, OG was one of the young guys up and coming that I thought was underrated. They don't give him enough credit. Serge, another guy. So yeah, in San Antonio, we didn't have a bunch of guys that did dressing up. Patty Mills, underrated guy. Rudy Gay, those guys. So, I'll go with my teammates, man. Those guys are very well dressed.
Describe Kyle Lowry in just one word.
Warrior, man, champion. There's a couple words. The guy is one of the greatest teammates and Raptors, of course, probably the greatest Raptor of all time. He's a Hall of Famer, but at the end of the day, you can count on him to go into battle. So that's why I say warrior. Regardless if he's playing well or bad, he's gonna throw his body into the field with you and for you. So yeah, that guy's the ultimate competitor. He's just a competitor and Hall of Fame Raptor, Hall of Famer. Period.
Which player in the NBA is the biggest challenge for you to guard?
Oh man, it's been different for different years. But I think consistently, it's always the All-Stars, and I think consistently, it's always the top guys that are the best scorers in the league, like a Kyrie or a Kevin Durant. There's a reason why they're the most prolific scorers in the game. Kevin Durant, 7 foot, shoots it better than me and can handle it. And, he knows how to draw fouls. Kyrie, the same. His touch is unbelievable. His handle is probably the best in the history of the game. Knows how to get to his spots and just an artist on the floor. It's like poetry in motion. So, but there's also times where it's hard to guard the guys like JJ Redick, chasing them off screens. Steph Curry, of course. Klay Thompson. Guys that use their bodies well, know how to back cut, get screens, and run around 3 screens all day, and they can shoot it very well. So it's different for different years that I've played in different teams. But the All-Stars ultimately, at the end of the day, are very tough to guard for a reason.
Danny Green with the win! Another lights out performance. You just won a Lamar Jackson PSA 10 Gem Mint rookie card. Add this to your long lists of trophies. How'd that feel, Danny?
Man, amazing. I'm a big fan of Lamar Jackson. That's awesome. So I'm excited, man. I appreciate the interview, man. I appreciate the prize. I said I hope to see you there April 7th. I think that's the date. We'll figure out a way to get you there, man. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Thank you. Also, can I ask you one more question?
Of course.
Okay, so you've got this like world-class podcast. And I know for me, I love sports and I love people. So like the podcast role fulfills my needs like perfectly. I just love doing them. But what made you decide to start a podcast?
Actually, it wasn't my idea. It was a friend of mine's. But the reason I agreed to do it, because after basketball, everybody says they want to retire. They're going to sit around and, be lazy, sit on their butt. I know that I want to do that, but I know I'm not the type of person to do that. I'm not going to be a stay-at-home guy and just do nothing. So I know I'm going to get antsy. I want to stay around the game, and I want to do something that's fun and less stressful. And I think just, things that we do on a day-to-day basis is we talk crap and talk trash about sports and other players. Why not do it professionally? We go to the barbershop, we talk this and that. Why not stay around the game, able to do it professionally without having to worry about performance of a team? Like people say, oh, you could be good at coaching. I probably would be, but it's a stressful job, and I don't want to be more stressed after playing, as a coach and losing my hair and it going gray or, whatever the case may be. So coaching, yes, I would love to do, but I just think it's very stressful. So I think, talking basketball, commentating, being a Shaq or Chuck or Kenny or Ernie on a nice board or network would be great. And be able to just talk sports, stay around the game and talk basketball, and also get to travel still and get paid to do it. So that's why I kind of went into podcasting, to build a resume, to get more reps behind the microphone and the TV, to be ready for when or if that time or opportunity ever comes, so I get a chance to talk on a board. and still be around the game.
That's actually pretty cool. Also, Danny, thank you so much for taking time to join me today on Jake's Takes. Oh, wishing you tons of success with the rest of the season. Did you enjoy your time with me today?
I enjoyed it, man. I had a great time, man. And the only thing I can advise you on, because I'm not the brains of the operation behind my podcast, but get you a producer and a co-host that makes your job easier. Right now, you're the man. You're probably doing everything, but you have a great setup, man. You have, a nice little backdrop, everything you need. But make sure you get, a good team around you where you guys can work together